Greetings. It is me, the Red Penis Rider, and as you can see, I've got some new companions, the Red Ketsu being one of them. The other ones are, well, my Zemtrios. I haven't bothered leveling them up too much because I don't have access to roaming Kezus and Zemtrios right now. I have to progress in the story a little bit, so power leveling isn't an option right now. The reason why you should add a Red Kezu to your team if you care for being a little bit stronger or increase your survivability in the story is not only because Red Kezu's stats are amazing and Thunder element is probably the best element in the game because pretty much everything is weak to Thunder aside from some monsters who are Thunder elemental themselves. The other reason is that Water element is the weakest offensive elemental type in the game. There are only a handful of water monsters you can get yourselves. Other than that, water elemental attacks are pretty weak in this game. That's because there are no good water monsters in this game, and even less that you can ride. There are 2 water monsters in this game which you can ride, and there's 1 water monster, or even 2 I think, 2 water monsters who have been scrapped from the game. So Red Kezu is one of the best monsters in the game, period, especially if you can get it as early as now, the second area of the game. Now that we have got this out of the way, Zemtrios is a very good ice monster, and the first monster that you can ride that has the swim ability. The swim ability is, well, the ability to swim. Duh. You can, for example, as you can see, there are some bodies of water down below which you can swim through and get some new items. I cleared half of this area, this one, the other one on the left I haven't yet. Whoops. And I already backtracked to the plains. I keep forgetting the name of the first area, and I cleared some water areas there too. I've got 1 or 2 Poogies, and yeah, that's pretty much it. This is a recurring theme in this game. You get monsters with abilities like, for example, vine climbing, and then you backtrack through the game to get items you couldn't get before. Now that we've taken care of this, let's deliver the mountain herbs to the other chick. Or not the other chick, I think it's the only girl we've talked to who has meaning to the story aside from Lilia, who fucked off to another city we've yet to visit. And the not important character who got killed just for some other character's progression, Cheval's mom, Vla, I can remember. And of course the other one, the scribe, Monsander Scrivener girl, whose name I forgot. Let's go into the Dodge Mountain cabins. Even though this is 1 cabin. I accidentally visited this cabin before and then I had to reload my save, and I haven't saved before for 2 hours or something, so I had to get my Kezu and my Zemtrios all over again. Have you seen those biceps? Cunt. Yeah, well, as far as I can remember, Sandbarioth is a 6 or 7 star monster, so duh. Who the fuck is this goblin? Gremlin, orc, hybrid. those weird cocaine eyes. If you can remember, the village elder, Omna, I forgot his name, mentioned one Vivarian guy who was going to help us with our kinship stuff. Nah, this is the Riddle Master. He will be, yeah, well, giving us the opportunity to do some quizzes later on, but those are not your casual quizzes. You have to actually guess the monster he's naming and then bring the correct monster to him. But this won't happen for quite some time. Maybe, I think after we've done with this mission now, we have the option to do the first mission, but the other monsters are spread out throughout the game, so we won't have the opportunity to do them for quite some time. At least not all of them in a row. As you can see, there are quite a lot of nests now here. I had luck. Oh, Zamtrios has spawned. Nice. I had the luck before that I had four rare nests in a row. There were 3 there. I made a screenshot, maybe I'm going to blend it in right now. And then I went around the corner and there was another one. A pleasant treat for my eyes. Now that we have the swimming ability, let me clear some of the other items which I can get here. There's a Poogie around there which caught my eye quite some time ago. And getting Poogies isn't only as good for collectibles or the items you get through the amount of Poogies you what was it? The amount of Poogies you pick up after you screw it. After you save those Poogies, or you rescue them rather, you get an item from them, and the item, the further you advance through the game, or the availability of those picks. For example, if you need the fly ability, you get better items even though it's in the starting area. For example, Life Suit. Life Suit is the let's say weaker version of Life Powder, and you get 10 of them, which is very good because the ability to heal you and your friend at once is very nice. Let's see, how do I get up here? Ah, there we go. Ah, there. Just a little bit. It's like trying to pee in a straight line while you're drunk as fuck. So this should be mostly be it. There is this one and treasure, or is it sleeping Zamtrios? Zamite. Either way, I'm going to go there anyway. How do I get up here? I highly advise you to, if you see an area where you could have gotten an item but you haven't gotten the ability yet, it's always recommended to backtrack and get those items afterwards, because there may be some items you might need later, or they may be just some useful item in general. And who doesn't want free items? Except if you're a fool. How do I get up here? Sometimes, yeah, sometimes the coastline, let's say, is higher up than other ones, but you can still climb up or get ashore from them. So now that we've taken care of this, I think I've done everything. On the other side there was some kind of small cave with another poogie, but since I took care of it already, it's not that important anymore. Can I swim through this? I can't. Already figured so, because there's nothing there. Poogies can't swim, so no poogie there. So let's see, the Zemtrios, as you can see, it's pretty slow. Kazus aren't very fast themselves, but he has a very specific ability. Roar! If you don't want to grind, or if you want to avoid monsters or something like that, and just breathe through an area, you can use Kazu to yell monsters away. And it's pretty useful. I wouldn't use this too much, because if you get used to it and don't use it too often, if you use it too often I mean, then you might be underleveled. And speaking of underleveled, today is Saturday, the day I'm recording this, and I've already seen half a dozen of people who already beat the game. They were underleveled as hell, and the level they were when they fought the final boss was the level I was on my Japanese playthrough when I was in the desert. Granted, I power leveled as hell, but the end of the game, compared to the desert is, let's say, not even mid-game. It's, well, let's say 40-35%, and end-game is 100%. So, it should give you an idea how rushed they were. Not that there's something wrong with it, but once you're done with the game, there's not much to do aside from post-game and PvP. And yeah, if you're not interested in PvP, I would take my time with the main game. So now we're going to fight Bulldrum. Bulldrum has a very easy pattern actually. Power, tech, power, tech, power, tech. He sometimes uses power charge. I think it's power charge. It was accumulate in the English translation of the patch team, but here I think it's power charge. So you basically just want to spam attack if it's not attacking you, and if it's attacking you, either speed or power. So now it's going to use tech. I'm still going to use power, because the next one I'm going to use tech, and then I'm going to use deal massive damage. My Katku has the right idea. He wants to use speed, but since... oh, I don't have any kinship points left. Alright, never mind then. Tech. Hooah. Whoops, I'm at speed 3, my bad. Still not weak yet. He learned a new attack a little while ago. Reckless Dash. I think this is an attack the Bulldrum also knows. It's some kind of... if you play Pokemon, it's the equivalent of Volt Charge, Body Check, and something like that. If you don't know what kind of attack this is, it deals recoil damage upon using. It's pretty strong, but you also get damage in the process. There is Power Charge. This is very dangerous actually, because the attack rises exponentially, meaning that the next attack it does will deal a lot of damage, and Bulldrum tends to usually follow up the Power Charge with his own Reckless Charge, and Reckless Charge is an attack which deals massive damage if you actually hit with it. The attack ratio, attack accuracy is pretty, well, pretty small. I think it's 50-50 or something, but the damage is amazing. But if you double this damage, it's quite a lot. Even though if it's losing the head-on attack, it will still deal massive damage. I wasn't paying attention. I think it's technique now again, so I don't want to take any chances and just use Blaze attack. Let's use our Fanged Beast Hunter attack. Oh yeah, it's basically the animation of Lion's Maw from the main series. Well, not main series, from Monster Hunter Cross and Double Cross. There we go. Dodged a bullet there. I try to show off the Red Queso fight later, because you can only fight it if you... Well, you don't have to fight it while you're here, because Red Quesos are actually very strong. Basically, it can use an attack which is called Thunder Trap, which explodes after a random amount of turns, I think, and it dealt 200 damage to my Katku. I don't know if it's because he used Thunder Charge, which doubles your thunder attacks or enhances your thunder attacks, or if it's always 200 damage, I don't know, but it was one shot, basically. I want to get in your pants, blonde son. Yeah, more cringy cat puns. Feed them to me. Let's see if there's something here, because this is a dead end, and dead end, as you know, in RPGs, are always filled with treasure. Not in this case. And as you can tell from the map below, well, you can't because I don't have the lower screen on my recording software, but there's a pillar, and they wouldn't put a pillar there with a platform which you can land on top of if there wasn't some item, so you might want to come back here once you have the fly ability.
Yeah,
Her face looks hideous in this pose, like there's some kind of snot running down her face. Perverts everywhere. Can I go this way? Naviru, such a cockblock. Let's go there first then. And as we can see, there are already some hunters here, hoarding all the Onsen water. One has the Velociprey armor, one has the Lagombi armor. And the other ones are naked! Well, not entirely. There are also some treasures which I'm going to grab real quick. Naviru is just casually drowning next beside me. It doesn't care. I can't go below the water. Well, if I... Oh, there's another Poogie, just chilling out. Naviru? Ah, there he is. He took the soaking part a little bit too serious. So there should be another treasure here, right? On my first playthrough, I haven't seen this treasure chest until I was in the post-game, because I didn't really explore too much. At least not enough. And there's another one.
Who's a good piggy? Who's a good piggy? Give me a kiss.
When I was younger, or actually, it's still the same right now, I really want a pet pig, some kind of small piglet who never grows up, who always stays at piglet size, I mean, which you can go outside with, take it for a walk, and if you get tired of it, you just eat it. Well, everything except the last part. No. This is why I wouldn't recommend using a regular queso compared to a red queso, because there are a lot of monsters with fire attacks and a lot of fire monsters in general, so you might want to stick with the red Kezu instead. I can show you in the Monsterpedia, by the way. There we go. White monsters. Oh, a lot of treasures. Rock salt tuna. Poison knife. Defense nutriment. Paint berries. Sonic bombs. Girthy garlic. By the way, you can see it says concho blue, so there are many variations between regular conchos, regular bananas, and other monsters of that kind. Element charms. It's highly suggested. Oh, what? Strength nutriment. I forgot that we slain him now and didn't only just make him retreat. And new monsties. It took me, I think the last monster which I got in my main save was actually a green or a blue. It may be a blue one. It was a contour or banana, if I recall correctly. And yeah, as you can see, the regular Kezu has this stats, and the red Kezu, its attack is way better. Its HP is a little bit lower, but the difference is minuscule. As you can see from the attacks it gains, Thunder Fang, Thunder Charge, and Thunder Trap are very good attacks. Plus, its starting out gene or ability is Savage Thunder Breath, the very best single target thunder attack in the whole game. And Bloodsuck is, well, it's a little bit useful. A Writhing Bite, I don't know what it is, but it learns Savage Thunder Breath as its last ability, and Red Kezu starts out with it. You can actually use both of them, but I don't see much of a reason because fire monsters are so prominent in the game. And regular Kezu just, well, it just can't compete with the red one. If you like white penis compared to red veiny penis, then go ahead. You can also use Bolfango, or rather Bulldrome, in the game. It's useful. Apex Gaming took it until to the last boss. I thought about it too, but I don't think so. I'm not very fond of glass cannons too much, because if they die, which they will in the harder bosses, because you can't ruffle stomp everything, because bosses, for example, are very tanky. I'm not very fond of it. I prefer survivability, and since, as you can see, Kezu has a lot of defense, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with Blue, Katku, and Zemtrios also for a while, not for too long. I'm going to replace Katku with another fire monster soon, but he will stay for quite some time. Alright, let's take the quest and then end the part right here. Uninteresting as shit. Ah, the monster was supposedly the Bulldrome. Nice. Now we can accept some, as you can see, subquests from those guys. I'm going to take all of them, and I'm going to clear the uninteresting ones off screen. Oh, I can already give him those ice crystals right now. Nice. Oh, by the way, well, I think I'm going to address this in the next part. Tune in on my next part of Monster Hunter Stories playthrough, let's play, whatever you're gonna call it, and see ya.